Meek Mill recently did a post where he said, if you flex with guns online, you ain't real.
That statement, I mean, one could perceive it that way, or one could just perceive that you're stupid. It's a lot of stupid people that do stupid things, but real and stupid is two different things. Like there are people who are not as intelligent as others. If you go throughout the line, since they've been doing a lot of these indictments and these people getting caught for things that they put on their social networks, there's a lot of real people. Like people have gone to jail and have murdered people and wrote a comment about it on their Instagram and had guns in their pictures. The next day they got raided by the cops, so they had all types of SWAT artillery and got convicted of these type of murders and assaults and all this. So I wouldn't say real. I think at this era, we don't use our minds. We're not using our brains. Common sense is not that common anymore. So I mean, his statement to some might think is fake, some might think is real. That doesn't mean that the person who's holding the gun won't shoot you. If that's your assessment, then you might have to rethink that, because you might see somebody on a social network, on his YouTube page or his Facebook, and he might shoot you. So if you make that assessment and you wrong, you the one that's gonna lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, I looked online and it seemed like he got sentenced for 3 to 6 months by actually having guns on his Instagram. And I think that violated his parole. Now, I may be a little bit wrong because the info on this is a little bit shaky, but that's essentially what happened. I mean, I think people feel that Instagram could be, whatever they do on Instagram, they could say, oh, well, that was just for entertainment, it was all fake. But it doesn't really work that way in real life.
See, the thing is, it's different. Parole and all of these situations that you go after you release from prison, it's based under their own mandate. It's based under their own criteria of what you've done. You understand what I'm saying? When you release on parole, you're not free. So when you go before that parole hearing, if somebody says you're in violation of parole, you have a hearing, and it's up to the discretion of that court. There's no real rules in parole. If they say, yo, look, we done this 3 or 4 times, we knocked on his house 3 or 4 times, we couldn't get him, he should come back in jail. You under that mandate, like you still under the laws of prison while you outside on parole.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think when they're on parole, they're 100% free. But in reality, you give up a lot of your basic rights when you are on parole, like in terms of like unwarranted searches and stuff like that. They can literally search you,
Exactly.
Go to your house at any point that they feel like it with no reason at all, and it's 100% legal.
Exactly. You are still state property when you're under parole. So Meek Mill's, even if he's in there and he's saying these guns is fake, they don't have to prove that it's fake. They can just say that whatever it is, the message, what we believe is detrimental, it violates your parole stipulations that you can't be around firearms. It violates that. So they can violate you for it.
What do you think about the whole Bobby Shmurda situation? Bobby Shmurda is still currently locked up. One of the crazier parts about the whole trial was that, there's the famous line, probably the most famous line in the song was, Mitch caught a body about a week ago. And then one of the guys that are being indicted is named Mitch. And I believe it's for catching a body. I don't know, might not have been a week ago, but regardless, it's kind of a crazy ass situation where you have someone where their songs, are being used as part of a lot of people being in prison.
Well, that goes back to what we just saying. Like it's not very intelligent, and you got to think about it. Bobby Shmurda is 19 years old. He's a kid, and fame is coming at him. When he first did that song, he wasn't thinking, yo, this is gonna be paid before millions of people. This is gonna be heard by this. He thought him and his friends was in the studio and he was laying some verses that he wrote while he was in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't even really a rapper. And it was overnight success. And throughout that process, nobody educated him. Everybody just was trying to profit off this young kid and get some money and sign him up. Nobody educated him. Nobody said, even when you're in the street, you're supposed to have OGs that sit you down and have conversations with you and say, yo, look, you really doing things in the streets. Those are not things that you publicize. Those are not things that you tell, because these are used indictments. When I went to trial, they tried to use lyrics that I had said in rhymes that had really had nothing to do with it, but they brought it to the case. And then they tell you they can't use it, but at the end of the day, the jury's already heard it. They tell you to stricken it from, but you can't take it from somebody's mind. You know, when you put this into the universe, people grab onto it, and a lot of these kids, they don't know that. I blame the people around them. I blame the people that was capitalizing them. I blame the older artists and things of that nature that didn't sit down and try to educate them about certain things. But the reality of the situation is he's learning. He was a kid, 18, 19 years old. You don't really know what's going on. You're not really privy to the information. You don't know as much about the law. You don't know about this music industry. You just thinking your favorite rapper said he shot somebody and he didn't go to jail because you believe your favorite rapper. And that's what happens. A lot of these people follow the wrong. They don't follow what's real because any real street dude is not really going on there telling you that. So then you have real street dudes that's thinking that they have to do this in order to be famous within this industry. So they trying to follow one of the artists that ain't really in these streets talking about shooting and killing and selling drugs. So they like, I really do that. So I'm gonna tell the people what I really do. And they put it on the record and they get indicted. And they like, yo, but what happened to such and such? He talk about that all the time. That's just, this is an act for him. You know, you live in real life. And when they do it, it's art imitating real life. Now real life is imitating art.
Where we are as men, we just understand the equity in our relationship. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the good outweigh the bad.
Okay, we can't hate on her. So let's say she has AIDS. Okay, now let's call her a fat bitch. Like, well, you already said I had AIDS, and so you think you calling me a fat bitch is gonna really hurt me?